Hey everybody, we're back in my garage. Hood is on. Tried to shoot a video of us putting the hood on, and you'll see some of that a little bit later. But the camera kept shutting off saying it was hot. Well, it didn't feel hot to the touch, but that's the way the cameras are, I guess. All right, everybody, we're putting the hood on. Maybe. Lots of friends, relatives, I should say, brothers helping. All right, we're going to tackle Randy's side first.
All right.
So your side needs to go up. Since I'm over here, Randy, you need to come down. Down.
All right, we started here with the hinges loosely installed on the hood. And that way we could move them around a little bit and make sure we get them in the holes in the cab. And then we're going to bolt in one side loosely and then work on the other side.
Get that started. All right, Randy, you are in. Bolts are on.
I'm going to take your spot. Put my better side top again.
Try to bend the hood out just a little bit. All right, here we come. Now.
That's a whole lot easier than the other way.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I don't know how they did it.
I don't know how they ever thought that was going to work that way.
Even if you had the hood up, I'll make them get to it.
Well, I've got to get to them to tighten them, so hopefully this works.
We'll leave you to that.
What we're talking about here is having the hinges on the hood while we're installing. At a car show I was at, I looked at some trucks and the owner said they installed them on the body first and then the hood. And we don't see how that is possible.
Can you lift up in the front a little bit? There it goes. Who's ever in front to lift
How far?
as high as you can.
Oh. Well, I'm not sure about that.
Huh?
Just for them.
Oh, we didn't know we were part of the adjustment first process.
Well, you don't have to be.
I
I just need one person
Dummying comes in.
after that. I didn't think of this being behind the fuse box when I put the fuse box here. How are things?
Did you want to tighten up those other brackets on the inside now? Before we try to close it down?
Yeah, sure. There's the right side wrench is over there.
Alright.
Don't tighten them up really tight
Yep, snug them only.
because it pivots
Okay.
Yeah.
there.
Oh, I see. Did you need it tight on this other side? Like you did in the cab, you already did it?
I already did it.
Okay.
I got that one with my fingers.
Alright, these are snugged only, they're not tightened.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Get in the wrench. Here, I got your ratchet wrench right here. You can use this one.
It's around there somewhere. I probably walked off with it. Is that the back one or the forward one? I can't see.
You're on the forward one. Yeah. Back one you can almost get on from the other side. Right there.
All right, you just barely snugged it up, right?
Yeah, just went here and then stop.
Yeah, it's got to fit it on it. Awesome. These, there is no, I have no knowledge of how they're actually supposed to go. Other than two pictures.
I'm assuming it's
There's two.
it's the top hole, right?
Well, that doesn't open up very, well, I don't know, because there's only one hole in a normal truck.
Okay.
And I think somebody put two holes in this and after somebody knocked of the factory.
Well,
So,
if we go up,
well,
if we
before
go up
do that-
higher, we can get, I'll be lined up with the top hole.
Right, but before we do that, let's check and see how much room we have up here,
Okay.
so we don't.
Close it. I'm gonna measure this other side at that height.
Can you push it forward now? Do I need to use the front one?
I'm 9.5.
Yeah, loosen the back one a little more too.
Back.
Those really.
It's the front one that's tight, babe. Hold on.
Oh, I see. They're all.
Okay, you're only about a 1/4 inch off now.
Alright, let's see if we'll bump.
Okay, hold it right there, that's 9.5. And 9.5, all right, so we're pretty close right there. Yeah, 'cause my shoulder bolt's not going into the hole all the way.
So after a bunch of frustration and pushing and pulling, we got the springs on, the arms bolted in, shut the hood, and then one of the springs broke. Didn't do much damage, but I decided to change to adjusting the hood and then getting some struts to put on instead of springs. And you'll see that a little bit later.
So I'm going to show you a few things on it, like adjustments. You can see as we come around and look at the side here, this is pretty good gap right here. That's not terrible. I'm going to pull it back just a little bit. Still got to glue that molding in. All right, and on the other side is a little worse. So on this side, we're looking at a little bigger gap and it's too high. It doesn't match. But the adjustments are pretty easy, and I'll show you where those are. It'll be hard for you to see me adjusting while we're in there. Get a light going. All right, so what you're looking at up here is the adjustment screw. There's one right there, and there's one further back in there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's further back in there. So it's just a great big hole. And this is able to move around, and that's why the washer is so large. It's covering that big hole, and the washer will move around. It's actually got knurling on the side, and it's the same thing on the other side. Right up there, you can see the bolts. So the way I'm going to do this, let me shut down that light. That is bright. Oh, nice. Got the flash going. There it goes. All right. That flash about blinded me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to loosen those on the inside, and that will allow it just to shift down a little bit. I'm going to put a spacer right here to keep it from sitting all the way down. And once they're loose and it drops a little bit, then I'm just going to come out here and give it a little push this way, and that should do it. So let's see what happens. I'm just going to use a plastic scraper as a spacer. It's got about a 1/4 inch space here, and there are some little rubber bumpers down here, but they're not as tall as I'd like the space to be. So I'm just going to slide this underneath the bumper, which is right there. Now when it sets down, it's going to set that bumper down on here, and then as things, I'm going to adjust it, pull this out, and there'll be a little bit more drop when I pull this out, just because this is so old and the holes are big and all of that. The springs are actually, or not the springs, the hinges themselves are actually worn, and so it'll drop a little bit more. So that's what I'm doing with this spacer, just setting it so that when it drops, that bumper should be just right on or just above the fender. All right, you can keep an eye on it, see if it actually drops. But let's look out here. No, it still looks like it's sitting right where it was. So let's see if we can just make, there we go. Now our body lines are almost perfect. Yeah, that's, I don't want it much lower than that. I'm just moving the scraper away from the bumper so it sits down. That lines up perfectly there. So let's see, I'm gonna go up front, I'm gonna bump it. Let me know when it lines up. I want, 3/16 inch gap right here. Maybe a paint stick width. That's what most shops would do, is a paint stick. Now it moved up front. Did it move back here? Oh, holy cow. That's a little too much. All right, let's bump it out just a hair. Well, that looks good. A little tight here, but it opens up here. So let's do this. Might try to raise it just a hair so when we tighten it, it sits down. There we go. Let's tighten it up right here and see what happens. All right, we're kind of tight on the inside. I'm going to take this out and give it a little vibration. Yeah, that body line couldn't be any better as far as in line with this right now. Yeah, when you look at it straight on, like you guys are probably pretty close. That's perfect. This gap is good. I'm going to go around and adjust the other side, and then we'll see about opening the hood. All right, I brought you around the other side just so you can see for sure which bolts I'm talking about. And that's this one over here, and this one, which is behind the heater box, you can't see, but it's right in line with this one. So I'm just going to loosen them up just a little bit. They actually don't look like they're all the way tight. Oh no, that's fairly loose. And that one's really loose. So we should be able to move this side of the hood and get it in the same position as the other one. All right, it looks good out there, so let's tighten it up. Not that you guys need to know, but one thing I tried to do on this truck was use original hardware if I could find it. So these big knurled washers and the nuts that are going on them, which are kind of unique looking, they have little cuts in each one of the flats of the nut. Maybe I'll get you up there close enough you can see it. Can you see that nut, what I'm talking about there? Anyway, I tried to use all the original hardware wherever I could. And I don't know, I think that just makes the truck a little more cool. So let's get out and look at the outside. Paint scraper's out. You can see our gap here is real good. This gap's a little more than the other side, but the reason is it closes up a little bit more up here. And I don't want this to bump this when I open the hood. So let's look at the other side and I'll show you what I'm talking about. On this side, this gap is closed more, but this is open more. So, you know, there's nothing we can do about that with old metal that's already been finished. If I was going to make this, you know, like a show truck, we could actually weld a rod here and then grind it smooth and close this gap so that this gap and this gap are equal, but not a show truck. This is a driving truck. This is going to get dirty. It's going to get wet. We're going to have fun. So I'll put you back on the tripod. We'll go to try and open the hood. Well, the hood is fitting pretty good. I had to back it out a little bit, and I'll show you why. So now we have a bigger gap here than we did, But the reason was because it was closing right here, right at the top in the middle, when I would try to open the hood. That's no good. That'll pull the paint off there. But they're equal. The gaps are equal. This side's lined up a little bit better right there. So that's about where that's going to be. Now, this latch was an issue. There's not many instructions. There's no pictures on how this is supposed to function. And this truck was mostly apart when I got it. This was bolted on the front, but nothing was behind that latch. So we're going to pop that open. I'll prop the hood up and we'll show you what's under there. First off, this lifts up. Can you see that? And it's supposed to go to a point and get caught where it doesn't come down. So you can lift by this, but there's a secondary catch. So let me get that out of the way. I got the light on kind of bright so you can see in here maybe. There's a hook here that hooks onto the metal behind this right here. So you lift part way, put your finger in there or here, push the hook away, and then it comes up. Now right now I'm missing the hinges. In fact, let me show you what happened to them. This is what it's supposed to look like. The spring hinge bolts on back there. This is what happens when it's an old hinge. It broke, that side, while we were putting it on. We closed the hood and then it let go. Man, what a racket. It chipped up a little paint, but it's a truck. So what? All right. Now this big piece that we lifted, that piece that we lifted hooks into this right here. So this is adjustable in height. By those screws, it goes down, it goes up. Can you see that behind the rod? Let me move this over here. There we go. Up, down adjustments. We can probably kill the light now that the hood's open. That's really bright. All right. This will move up and down, and it's to make sure that the hook back here is tight. And let me show you that. All right, this operates this. There's a hook right there. This is the lever that's holding that up. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, okay. So when I close the hood, that lever hits right here, and you'll see what happens. There's the hook that hooks in here. And this bottom hook hooks right behind here. So when you lift this spring pulls this lever, locks it in place so it holds this up, and when you lower it down, this piece hits right here and releases it. Now it's latched in place. So that's how the hood latch system works. And now those springs I showed you, they were supposed to have mounted up here and over here. I'm going to get some hydraulic struts and put them in there. That should allow the hood to stay up. I hope. I'm going to go for about 45 pounds struts first. And if that doesn't work, we'll modify it from there. If you know what weight is supposed to be there or what weight I could use, please let me know down below, and I'll show you that when I install them and we see how that works. So until then, Have fun, be safe, work on your stuff, guys. Later.